Now, long putting, or lag putting as many determine it, is an absolute essential to have in the bag to play good golf. So we've got Dame set up here, probably about 35, 40 foot, pretty long putt, couple of undulations, so quite tough. So no matter who you are in the world, you're probably not really going to hold this putt. You might one in a blue moon, but you're really trying to just finish it dead, minimise the, I suppose, the damage and get out of this hole with only 2 putts, right? So what you need to do here is you've got 2, I guess, elements that you've got to take into account. Where to hit the ball and the pace at which you need to hit it. Right? That sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it, right? That's just, normal distance, just putting. Yeah. So how do you do that, right? Now, I've seen so many people on long putts, right? They'll be playing with their playing partners, and the playing partners have played there before, and they'll be tending the flag, and they'll say, aim out here somewhere. So they're giving the student or the friend, I guess, an area to hit the ball. But that doesn't really help the brain determine distance. All that does is gives you a definitive point somewhere up there to aim at, but that's kind of like aiming a gun at a star and pulling a trigger. Brain doesn't have any idea where the star is or the distance. So that's exactly what picking a point up there does. Doesn't really help you, okay? But what you can do is, if someone tells you, aim out here, is think to yourself, okay, if I aim out there, where's the ball going to roll and enter the hole, or what we call entrance point, okay? That's probably the biggest thing I can talk about here is entrance point, okay? So if your cup's here, got a straight putt, your entrance point is obviously straight on. If the ball breaks, your entrance point, or where the ball drops in the hole, can no longer be front on. It's got to shift or move to that side so the ball can fall in, okay? So when thinking about distance, right, and this is not feel, this is not the second element, but the first element, when thinking about distance, determine your entrance point, okay? So I'm going to walk up here, I'm going to lay these sticks down. I'll leave my putter there, Dames. Right, now we were putting here earlier, so we know the putt slopes right, left. So I'm up at the hole now, and there's a big right to left slope coming down towards this hole. So straight line from Dame's ball to the hole would obviously be there as your entrance point, but that's no longer exists. It's out here to the left-hand side, and we're coming in this zone. So I'm going to place 2 clubs down now in that general vicinity. And all that's doing is it's now basically widened the hole for a start, makes things easy. And also it's given the brain some sort of concept to where the ball needs to fall into, not just a definitive point out here somewhere they've got to aim, which really helps it, I guess, understand the general concept of space, okay? So now I'm going to go up, and Dames is going to hit a few putts trying to feed a ball into this zone. So Dames, just set up here with what you feel like would be having the ball somehow kind of feed into that little zone. Don't hit it.
Somewhere about there, I'd say.
Right. So most people, without getting specific, set up in a general way. And if you take his little aim point there, right, throw it down, he'll be aimed right at the hole. So he's roughly right. So he's got the first element right. He's going to point it to where he really wants to go. Now you're up to stage 2, or probably the most important part, which is distance control over aim, okay? Because aim is great to get it in, but really distance is where you're going to minimise your shot. So, second part of this, Dames, set up next to the ball, but I want you to have a few practice swings, so don't set up next to the ball actually. Set up next to it.
So next
to the ball, right? So now don't look at your putter, but look at the entrance point and go back and forward. Now do some stupid ones where you'd go too hard. Right, so that's clearly going to go off and go to the bunker. Now do one that's going to go about 6 foot, so really small. Right, so clearly too soft. Now go what you feel like, looking at the hole, is kind of in the right ballpark. Beautiful, right? Now step across the ball, don't think about it, aim for your entrance point, and just hit your shot. Right, puck goes out to the right, starts the break, starts now coming down the hill, right? And it's feeding towards his hole, okay? So that's really uncomplicated in a lot of ways, right? But what he's done there is something really specific, right? He's got his general aim, but he's giving his body and his brain a chance to feel distance, okay? So when you have your practice strokes, I've seen hundreds of players look at their putter and they have a practice stroke like this. Now, I'm not sure why they're doing that. They either love the look of their putter, right? Or they're checking out their stroke is okay, right? Either one is dangerous because most strokes aren't okay. So either way, don't worry about your putter and don't worry about whether your stroke's good. Look at your hole.
Worry about where you're going.
Absolutely. Feel the stroke as best as you can, right? And then step across to your ball, have one kind of major look. You might have a few to make sure you're lined up okay, but one major look, come back and pull the trigger, right? Like Dame's just done then. ball goes up, feeds into his little gate or gateway, and it won't take you long to get good at that, right? That's the second time Dames has done that. Now he's down to about, well, nearly hold it. It's down to a foot, all right? So that's your only two things you have to worry about on long putting or lag putting. One's aiming, right? Pick an entrance point. Two is feel or the distance and look at your target or look at your hole and feel the putt. It's the only way.